Every story you have ever heard has a before. Before the house, an empty lot. Before you, your parents. Your whole brain is built on the rule that everything comes from something. So here is the question that rule slams into at full speed. What was there before the Big Bang? Ask a cosmologist, and you may get the strangest sentence in all of science. There may be no before, not we don't know what it was. There may be no such thing, the way there is no such place as north of the North Pole. And the truly unsettling part, that is only one of 4 serious answers, and at least one of the others implies you are living inside the corpse of a previous universe. Let's start with what we actually know, because it is more solid than most people think, and also more limited than most people think. First, the Big Bang was not an explosion in space. Nothing detonated into a waiting void. It was an expansion of space itself, every distance stretching everywhere at once. The galaxies are not flying away from a central blast site. The space between them is growing. In 1929, Edwin Hubble measured that nearly every galaxy is receding from us, and the farther away it is, the faster it recedes. That is not what debris does. It is what raisins in a rising loaf do. Second, the evidence. Run the expansion backward, like a film in reverse, and everything gets closer, denser, hotter. That reversed film makes hard predictions, and they have all come true. If the early universe was a furnace, its glow should still be out there, stretched by expansion into faint microwaves coming from every direction in the sky. In 1965, 2 engineers, Penzias and Wilson, found exactly that by accident while trying to debug noise in an antenna. We call it the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light in existence, released when the universe was just 380,000 years old. A baby picture of everything. The furnace also predicts how much hydrogen and helium the cosmos should have cooked in its first minutes, and when we measure the actual universe, the recipe matches. Expansion, the relic glow, the elemental mix, 3 independent witnesses, 1 story. The universe has been expanding and cooling for about 13.8 billion years. And now the confession, the thing the documentaries usually skip. The Big Bang Theory does not describe the bang. It describes everything after, the cooling, the clumping, the stars. Rewind all the way and our equations, Einstein's equations, predict a point of infinite density where the math stops returning answers. Physicists call it a singularity, and most of them do not believe it is a real thing that existed. They believe it is the theory waving a white flag, the same way a map of Earth drawn on a flat page tears at the poles. The first instant is not explained by the Big Bang Theory. It is the hole in the middle of it. So when we ask what came before, we are standing at the edge of the best-tested theory in cosmology, looking past it. Here is where it gets speculative, and I will label every step. There are 4 serious doors, and physics has not yet been able to open any of them all the way. Door 1, there is no before, because time itself began. In the 1980s, James Hartle and Stephen Hawking proposed what they called the no-boundary picture. Near the beginning, in their mathematics, time loses its direction and behaves like just another dimension of space. The universe has no edge, no starting wall, any more than the Earth's surface has an edge at the South Pole. Walk south and south and south, and at the pole the word south simply retires. In this picture, asking what happened before the Big Bang is not unanswerable. It is ungrammatical. Time is part of the universe, so there was never a before for anything to happen in. It is clean, it is elegant, and notice what it quietly costs you, every intuition you have about cause and effect. Door 2, the Big Bang was not the beginning, just our beginning. In 1981, Alan Guth proposed that the infant universe went through a burst of inflation, an expansion so violent that a patch smaller than a particle blew up beyond the size of everything we can see in less than a trillionth of a second. Inflation explains real features of the cosmic microwave background, which is why most cosmologists take it seriously. But the theory came with a twist its inventors did not order. In many versions, worked out by Andre Linde and others, inflation never fully stops. It ends in one region, which cools into a universe hours, while the larger inflating background keeps going, forever budding off new bubbles. Before our Big Bang, more inflation, other bangs. an eternal cosmic boil in which our entire observable universe is one bubble in an infinite head of foam. This is labeled speculation, but understand, it is not a fringe idea. It is an uninvited consequence of the mainstream one. Door 3, the bounce. Maybe rewinding the film does not end at a point. Some approaches to quantum gravity, loop quantum cosmology most directly, find that when the universe gets dense enough, gravity effectively turns repulsive, and a collapsing universe does not crush to a singularity, it rebounds. In that picture, before our expansion was a contraction, a previous universe, falling inward for who knows how long, bouncing, and becoming us. Related cyclic models, like the one developed by Paul Steinhardt and Neil Turok, imagine that break-sand bounce repeating without end. No beginning at all, just an eternal heartbeat, and we live one beat of it. Door 4 is the strangest, and it comes from one of the most decorated physicists alive. Roger Penrose, Nobel laureate, proposed in 2010 what he calls conformal cyclic cosmology. Follow our universe to its far future, every star dead, every black hole evaporated, nothing left but cold radiation. Penrose points out that in that state, with nothing left that can mark time or measure distance, the universe forgets its own size. And a mathematically rescaled infinite, empty end, he argues, is indistinguishable from a hot, smooth beginning. The death of one universe simply is the Big Bang of the next. He calls the cycles eons. On this view, the before is the entire history of a previous cosmos, and our sky is its tombstone. Penrose and colleagues have even claimed to see faint circular fingerprints of the previous eon in the microwave background. I have to be honest with you here. Most cosmologists are not convinced. The claimed signals have not survived independent scrutiny, and conformal cyclic cosmology remains a brilliant minority report, labeled as exactly that. So which door is right? Here is the catch, the part where this channel earns its keep. The reason you have just heard 4 answers instead of 1 is that the evidence runs out. The microwave background is a wall. For its first 380,000 years, the universe was opaque, a fog no telescope can ever see through. Whatever happened before that, let alone before the bang, must reach us indirectly, through gravitational waves from the first instant or subtle patterns frozen into the sky. We have been fooled there before. In 2014, a team announced exactly such a primordial fingerprint, and the result dissolved within a year. The signal was dust in our own galaxy. The honest scoreboard today, no confirmed data from before the wall, and there is a deeper problem. Every version of before assumes time is fundamental, a stage that simply runs. Many physicists working on quantum gravity suspect time is not fundamental at all, that it emerges from something deeper, the way temperature emerges from molecules. If they are right, the question, what came before time, may be like asking what temperature a single molecule is. Not hard, broken. And yet, step back and look at what just happened in this episode. A century ago, what came before the universe was not a science question. It belonged entirely to theology and philosophy, and science had nothing to say. Today we have 4 mathematically precise candidate answers, each making different claims about the deep past, and at least some of them, eternal inflation, the bounce models, Penrose's eons, make predictions that future instruments could in principle test. The question has crossed over. It is becoming physics. Slowly, the way the origin of species and the age of the Earth once did. So what was before the Big Bang? The science is real. The expansion, the relic light, the 13.8 billion years. The speculation is labeled, perhaps nothing because time itself ignited there. Perhaps an eternal inflating ocean, still foaming with other universes. Perhaps a previous cosmos, collapsing into the rebound that became your sky. Or perhaps the long, cold death of an older universe that forgot its own size and began again. 4 doors. Behind one of them, probably, is the truth. And the only thing we know for certain is the thing your brain still refuses to accept, that the answer might be that the question itself, the most natural question a human being can ask, was never the universe's kind of question at all.